Hello, I'm using this angle because I try to be respectful to those who rest here. This is a chalk. I don't know if you'll be able to see me, but interesting. I actually meant to flip the orientation before I did this, so it's fine. I feel like this is a little close for comfort, but that's also fine. Um, this is a realization I had earlier this week, maybe Monday, Tuesday, and I feel like I mentioned it in before, and this is something like hopefully it's not too long, and I'll do it as a separate thing rather than like talking about it before I sit down to do something else and the video ends up. I mean, in a certain way, from a certain lens and perspective, it works out more often than not, I would imagine. Also, this is a test for these headphones. Um, anyway, I love that green. Maybe it's because the sun is up there. It's looking extra verdant today, and we're almost into Scorpio season. So, you know, the temps have lowered. It's not like mid to high 80s, low 90s Fahrenheit. Anyway, there I go. I'll do it. I had this realization, and I think it was because after I was like, oh, Pluto, early Aquarius. Aquarius is the water bearer. For some reason, it just hit me earlier because I was thinking about Pluto being so early in Aquarius and the whole like age of Aquarius. North Node is in Pisces. Saturn, it's been back in Pisces for a minute. Neptune, maybe going back at some point. I mean, it is going to go back at some point. I don't know the exact dates. I don't really keep track of it like I used to. And so it's almost the realization, which I feel like realization is a strong word. The question that came to mind was, what if, like Saturn being back in Pisces, we just had because the solar eclipse was basically on the North Node, or it fell closer to the North Node. Lunar eclipse, sorry. The lunar eclipse, because it was full moon Pisces, fell closer to the North Node rather than the solar eclipse falling closer to the South Node, because it was beginning and end of Virgo season, new moons, middle, full moon. Anyway, the question was, what if all of this like nodal Pisces energy and some of what we see is an opportunity to re-establish what the age of Pisces is. It's like an opportunity to redefine what the age of Pisces is, because it already was everything that it was. And it's interesting how history, in so many facets, even in ones that are like, I saw a reel maybe like a week and some change ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was like a millennial, and she was like, because apparently, some of the science has come out on like vaping, and the millennial was like, we told Gen Z to be careful with the vapes because whenever something first comes out, they don't know a lot of the health risks until the research happens, and then they do, and that's what we said. And so, because like we've been through similar things, and so even that sort of like historical context. But anyway, it's a chance to, you could say, redefine it based on how we navigate today. Before we really enter like age of Aquarius type energy, but because it sets the tone, right? Aquarius is all about the future and technology. Uranus all about change, but like global communities, larger communities, stuff like that, right? And then you could say that Pisces is some of the ideology and theology around the bigger stuff. If Sagittarius is more of the science, then Pisces is more of the belief. And so it's like how that belief has inspired people to act and behave in certain ways, to make certain choices and decisions, and the discrepancy between one's actions and the beliefs that one holds, right? So basically, it's like depending on how, and it's an opportunity to like redefine it because it already happened. But, and this has been like so much of what's been coming out lately. It's like these opportunities to like do something different, to really break the loop, to realize that certain spirals and cycles aren't as set in stone as we've come to believe that they are, because we can always, at any time, any moment, choose something different. And also, without a proper lens, focus, degree of self-accountability or awareness, we can like unknowingly like perpetuate cycles as well. And anyway, depending on how we navigate today, it determines our tomorrows, right? So with as broad and expansive and polarizing in terms of extremes as like we could have like utopianic, progressive, like the age of Aquarius that everyone talks about with the age of Aquarius, or again, it could be a time of like revolution and upheaval and like a rejection to collective cohesion. And again, a lot of that is determined and predicated upon what we do today, right? And it's not only the held belief, but it's also how we like act on it, right? So it was basically that, because with Pluto being so early in Aquarius, especially when the North Node transits into Aquarius, that's going to be the beginning and the end, which doesn't have to define the entirety of what, or at least a large chunk of what the age of Aquarius will be. I don't know, maybe every time Pluto is in Aquarius, within that age, we get an opportunity to revise or redefine or proceed differently. Hey, look, you can see me. I don't know, that just came up. And I was like thinking about it. And as I said recently, I feel like I've been like really struggling with my nature lately, because my nature is like people are who they are and they're going to do what they're going to do. And without prompting, that's the truth of who we are and what we like really want or desire or what we would do. But also, and like especially growing up, I've had to remind myself, or first I had to be taught, then I had to remind myself that we as people aren't mind readers, and we don't always know how we are influencing, impacting, or like we don't know the interconnected web of everything. And if we're unaware, we can't necessarily be held accountable. So, too, it's like, you know, if we're really good people, then we just be good people. You don't have to tell a good person to be good because they're good. But again, if someone doesn't know that something is damaging or harmful, then, you know, they're unaware. So sometimes those things have to be said. And what am I here for if I'm not going to say things? You know what I mean? Like, literally, what would be the point? That was the whole North Node Sagittarius journey, evolution that I went through, which was saying stuff. And now this is what it is. And I also thought recently about how interesting that it appears that this is where I am because of how opposed I was to it. But then also, live life long enough, find out that sometimes things need to be said, regardless of the outcome. So anyway, that was it. Oh, look at this, less than an hour. I do have something I want to do. I almost went live last night. I think I'm gonna do an ICC self-read type situation. I don't know, because something came to me yesterday, and I'm just like curious. So every now and then, it used to happen more so in the past. I take it back. Every now and then, more often than not, it'll be like a curiosity that calls me live. So I'll do that. We'll see. Okay. I just had an idea. Okay, all right. Well, yep, that's it. So basically, I guess to recap, it's not that we're changing or rewriting history, but now may be an opportunity to prove that we've learned from it so that what we experienced next is different to assume to be read as better than what we've experienced before, because we're doing something different. And the thing that we're doing different is rooted in more self-aware and collective awareness and better intentions, more of what it's giving, less of what it gave before. And let's see if we get something different, because again, I don't know, it was weird to me knowing the little bit that I knew about both Saturn and Uranus. So to have Aquarius that's ruled by both, even if we discount the Saturnian rulership, it's like Uranus. So I'm also maybe too, it's one of those, how bad do things have to be? No shade to Aquarians, no shade to the energy of Aquarius, no shade to Uranus or Saturn. Of course, never any shade. But it's how bad do things have to be for Aquarius to be the hope of today, right? And maybe that's the thing too, because Aquarius and Uranus, it's so removed from today. In a lot of ways, it's so the ideal, it's so the future, it's so already complete that, I don't know, do we blind ourselves to the today? Because if we never look at today, then we'll never get to tomorrow. Maybe that's why. That's the boon of Virgo, is that it keeps us grounded in the day-to-day, so we can look at, what we're actually doing, the steps that we're actually taking, rather than just keeping an eye on the horizon and potentially walking off a cliff, or just not actually taking the roads that'll get us where we think we're going. I don't know, it's just interesting to me. Not weird. I said weird. It was weird to me. That's maybe it's because I'm a Pisces too. I'm Pisces sun. According to somebody, I'm a fake Pisces. I'm really a Taurus because I'm a Taurus rising. I saw an anime and the dude was like, I'm a Gemini. And some girl was like, you're a fake Gemini. You're a Cancer rising. That means you act like this. And I was like, oop. But I feel like at the same time, we all know, it's not a secret. Unfortunately, I feel like my Piscean side would like to be semi-mysterious. I'm like, oh, my moon is in Taurus. You don't know me, but my rising is Taurus, so you kind of do. Maybe not as well as you think you do, maybe better than I would think or like to imagine. Anyway, all right, I'm done. Hope you're having an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, you're in what you find. And it's not just words. These are actual hopes. Also, too, I don't have any interest. I don't have any interest in a lot of things. There are some things that I would do if need be done. Like I said, I'm a team player. Unfortunately, it's not that unfortunate. Like when I said I've been struggling with my nature lately, I've seen different ways that I've been struggling with it, and it's like that. Like, I'll do something if it has to be done, even if I don't necessarily want to do it. And I feel like there are some people who still won't do whatever. And sometimes I wish I was one of those people who could just be like, oh, that's not my problem. I'm not going to worry about it. But in my mind, it's like, okay, well, if I don't do that and everything collapses, then it kind of affects me. So anyway, what I was meaning to say was there are a lot of people who handle things in ways with poetic patience. And while I do have some, there are circumstances and situations where I don't really. And it is my prayer that y'all who need those people find those people. Because I have very little, I have a higher relative interest in it, I guess I should say. Because again, if ultimately it would lead to an improvement in certain situations, then I could muster up the whatever. Anyway, when I say that's also part of the hope, right? I don't know.